That lady was tall. She was a boxer.
Testing.
Go ahead.
She was real tall.
Turn them up just a little bit, please.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Much better? All right. How's everybody doing today? All right. So today I was going to talk about hope.
Yes.
So how many times have you guys wanted to quit? Doesn't matter what, but how many times have you wanted to just quit? Just give up. Drop it. This is exactly what Satan wants. This is because Satan, despite all of the illusions that he puts up, all the times that he tells you that you are going to die, that you're going to fail, that you're going to give up, that you're going to be destroyed, he is lying every single one of those times.
Yes.
The reason why is because Satan is actually more afraid of you than you should ever be of him. Because when you stick with God, Satan should always be more afraid of you than you are of him.
Yes.
So Satan is afraid that as soon as you stick with God long enough, then God is going to show up by your side. And when God shows up by your side, that's like bringing a whole lot of firepower to kill a bumblebee. Satan's power is more than yours. You have to admit that. But you know that God's power is infinite.
Amen.
So when he shows up, it doesn't matter how strong Satan is. He's going to give up. He's giving up, not you. So, I would like to talk about the Pacific Campaign of the Second World War. In the Second World War, the United States was sadly put into a position of, how do I put this, with kind words, a state of hopelessness at the beginning. Our battleships, the pride of our fleet, were destroyed completely at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. The Japanese fleet attacked with 4 carriers and completely destroyed our battleships. We were left only with 6 carriers of our own. They had 8 in total. Now, it felt helpless to all the Americans that were there. We thought that we had been decimated, annihilated, and that Japan was going to rule the seas and California would soon be overtaken. That was not the case if you stand with God, just as our people did in 1941, December 8th. Now, I thought you were going to say something. So, the Essex class aircraft carrier. The Japanese started off World War II with 8 aircraft carriers. When they attacked Midway Island, just a small, meaningless little speck. Now, to Satan, that's what he thinks you are. A meaningless little pile of dirt in the middle of the ocean, just ready to be destroyed. Now, Americans knew they were coming. We had broken their code. We knew that they were sending almost all their carriers. 6 of their 8 aircraft carriers were ready. We destroyed all 4 that showed up, and they only took out 1 of our carriers. Now the Japanese fleet was crippled, and the shoe is on the other foot. When you stick with God, he's going to put Satan on the defensive. You will be the one on the offensive. Now, I would like to mention first Luke chapter 1, verse 37. For with God, nothing shall be impossible. That little speck in the middle of the ocean called Midway Island was where Japan's back was broken and America's power was reinforced once and for all. After that, the Japanese never mounted a single offensive against America again. After that, we crippled all of their aircraft carriers. All but 1 of their battleships, gone. They turned into submarines, bottom of the ocean. Just as God is going to do with all that Satan sends after you. If you stick with God, then Satan has no power because he's going to lose everything. But imagine if we surrendered on December 7th. Japan would have had control of everything. And that's what Satan wants you to do. He wants you to give up now. But Luke 20, verse 42 through 43. And David himself said in the book of Psalms, Lord said unto my Lord, sit now and in my right hand, for I will make thy enemies thine footstool. On August of 1945, we had reached Japan's own lands. Just as they had attacked Hawaii and brought the war to our borders when America had done nothing to deserve such a thing, now the shoe is on the other foot. And I would like to leave you guys with this. Psalm 23 and 4, probably I'd have to say it's quite possibly my favorite verse in the entire Bible. Yea, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I shall fear no evil. For thy staff and thy rod, they comfort me. Don't give up, because then Satan has already won.
That's right.
Because his finite power overpowers yours. But that's just 20 compared to 10. A simple equation. But when you bring God in, that brings infinity and changes everything. But he's not going to come in and assist you if you give up after 5 seconds.
God will say to
Yes.
So stick with God. And God will make just a meaningless little pile of dirt in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and he'll turn that into Satan's greatest disgrace.
Yeah.
He'll bury Satan's great fleets right under the waves.
Yeah, man. Come on, brother.
Thank you.